Madame la Présidente, Madame la Présidente.
Madam President, Madam President, colleagues, Madam President, we're losing the people of Europe. We have wealth, we have high standards, we stand up for freedom, but we're losing the Europeans. We're not taking them with us. We're weak when they want protection. Weak with Trump, weak with Putin, weak with China, weak on climate. Madam President, nothing is inevitable. In Renew, we refuse this concept of inevitability. It's about choices. We have to make the right choices, and we have to move on to a more integrated, sovereign, federal Europe which protects. We now face an existential threat. The world is reorganizing itself before our very eyes. We have Russia at our borders. Her war on Ukraine is a moment of truth for Europe. In terms of security guarantees, we have met the challenge, but we need to do more. We need to give Ukraine what it needs to defend itself and create a Europe of defence. What happened this morning in Poland with Russian drones only confirms that Ukraine's security is our security. Let us protect Ukrainian airspace. It's not just through force that we will dissuade others from attacking us, but we need to stand up when faced with a hostile world. It is a cultural war, a war of culture. Our way of life, our values, our freedom and our independence are all under threat. And that culture war is not only coming from the East. We are the last bastion of democracy and freedom. We have to have a strong voice in the world, given these international trends. And we need concrete action on the democracy shield, because so much is at stake. In the Czech Republic, Netherlands, Ireland, Portugal, elections are going to be happening, and we face the risk of interference. When it comes to defending democracy, I think it is wonderful that you have talked about DSA and DMA and said that they're not going to be used as bargaining counters. We should stand firm on that, and I urge you to continue standing firm. Madam President, there's another crucial point for me in terms of defending our values. Nobody here in this chamber has forgotten about the atrocities of the 7th of October. Nobody should give the slightest space to Hamas. But nobody is blind either to what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing in human terms in Gaza. And young people are particularly alert to this. Young people in Europe now are facing a generational dilemma, because they see what's happening in Gaza and they turn to us. And what we do will determine whether they can have faith in Europe and the European project. And what are we doing as of today? Member States are divided, therefore we have inaction. And that is a source of shame for Gazawis, for Israeli security, and for our young people's values. So yes, Madam President, the Commission should act, and we will defend you. We will defend the proposals which you put on the table this morning, and we would be willing to go further in order to end this catastrophe. Madam President, Europe's sovereignty is also about competitiveness, and we have a deep conviction in Renew. We believe that 2026 should be the Draghi report year, and for a year we've been waiting for the kind of response which you gave this morning. There is an economic emergency here now. Our entire prosperity is at stake. So less communication, more regulation. Yes, we need a capital markets union. Yes, we need the initiatives which you've talked about, and the calendar for 2028. You say we should act more quickly. Yes, we should act more quickly, and we will support you in that. Once again, you mentioned simplification, and I think that's quite right, but we also need to look in specific terms at employment, growth, what the Draghi report says. The Draghi report also gives us hope for a Europe that can make its citizens dream with big industrial and technological projects. We should have things Europe-wide, Concorde, Airbus, and we need to look at space too, so that the next AI giant is European too. We have the brains, we have the technology. The only thing we're lacking is European investment in companies in Europe. We're lacking vision, and perhaps worse, we're lacking political capacity, wherewithal to do it. The economy is changing, the world is changing, so our governance rules should change too. Today, we can see we're dragging our feet, we're inefficient. We have institutions that are not up to the task of completing the projects which we've set ourselves. We need an institutional big bang in order to achieve this. And this is not to criticise, but to try to better achieve a delivery of what Europeans want. We need a big convention, urgently. Sanctions, taxation issues, national lists, more power to the European Parliament, more power for you, Madam President. More power for the President of the European Commission. Direct universal suffrage, elections by European citizens. All of this is doable. All of this can be done. We just need the political will to do it. One final comment, Madam President. You said the right thing today, Madam. Now we need to follow through with action. Because we're in the last chance saloon for a European alliance. A more integrated federal Europe with strong leadership, stability and understanding amongst pro-European forces in this chamber is absolutely vital. I've had the opportunity to say this to you before, and I say this again today. We need you. In my group, for weeks and months, I've been trying to hold up your majority, trying to keep it together, trying to make sure it can work. We've been busting a gut to do that. Because people are watching. People are watching this. People are watching this at home, and they're seeing a pathetic spectacle. So we need to get down to action. That is the sine qua non condition for your agenda